Good morning. Welcome to the Keller Williams Southwest Real Estate Know-How. Harry will be so excited that I finally got the name right. So, Real Estate Know-How from Keller Williams Southwest. And today I want to introduce my co-host for the month of April, Linda Day, who is one of the Keller Williams agents. Also have Norman with us again, and thank you, Norman, for being here to help with the technology and show all the pictures and all of that good stuff. And today, Linda has a guest that she's going to introduce to us, and Linda will be talking to her, and I'll be listening in and giving some input where I see an opportunity. So, Linda, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce Jody Rubin. She's with Certainty Mortgage, and she is one of my partners here and helps me with my clients who need loans. And so welcome, Jody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Great. So today, Jody, tell me, I know you all have a lot of different types of loans that you offer, but I think today we're going to talk about the renovation lending.
Yes.
Renovation financing.
Yes. Renovation lending is one of my passions and what I really love to do. It's something that, everybody doesn't really think about it, and it can transform your life and your home and your whole environment. And as a realtor, taking people out and looking at properties and being able to walk them through a house and maybe help them see a vision of a house that's perfect for them, but it just is in bad shape, or the kitchen is terrible, or there's too many walls and it needs to open up. Sometimes you need to help your client see the vision of what that house could really be, because it's in the perfect spot. The schools are perfect. Everything about it is perfect. The kitchen and the bathroom's terrible, and they just want to turn around and walk out of there. So it's an art to walk your clients through those types of houses and get them involved, ask them questions. As you walk through the kitchen, you look at the kitchen with them and said, okay, if you had this house and you could change this kitchen, what would you do to it? Get them involved to talk to you, and you take little notes and write that down. Okay, they changed this. Help them see that vision. Then all of a sudden they get away from maybe the price of the house and get more excited about what this house could really be, because they love the neighborhood.
Yeah, I have a client now who I put up the renovation financing, because the house, everything inside just needs to totally be redone. And I know the person that's buying it is planning on doing that. So tell me about your financing. How does that work with the construction loan?
Well, renovation financing is based on, we take the sales price of the house, and this, we're talking about a purchase now. So we would take the sales price of the house plus the cost of all of the repairs or whatever they're going to do to the house, if they're going to redo the kitchen. So it's the sales price plus that cost. There are some fees built in, of course. There's a contingency, a 10% contingency that's built into the pricing to help in case you tear out a wall and you find something you didn't expect to find. You've got some extra funds in there, because once these loans close, you can't pull any more money out. So it's good to get your bids and know what that's going to be, and we work that into the price. And the appraisal is done when you buy the house based on the finished product. So you're basing your loan off the finished product and the finished appraised value. So if you're adding kitchens and redoing bathrooms and those kind of things, you're going to see that appraised value of that house is probably going to go up from where the sales price is.
Okay.
You'll pay a little bit more, of course, in the long run, but you're going to get the house you want.
Right. And you don't just hand over the money as soon as they close, right? Isn't it? And
yes, it's escrowed. Yes, our company has a renovation department, and we actually handle the renovation from when we get the application and put it together all the way through to completion. So that's the beautiful thing, is that they are going to be with the same people helping them through the process the whole time. So, okay. And we keep the money.
What if the homeowner wants to do the work themselves, or some of the work themselves?
Generally, we really require them to have a contractor, you know, that is responsible for it, because you just never know, you know, got to keep the money, keeping everything up on the up and up. So,
Right.
I mean, sometimes they go in and might help, you know, but you really need to have a general contractor or someone that's overseeing the work.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, just wanted to clear that up in case anybody wanted to know.
Right.
So, okay. And tell me how this would help somebody who's trying to sell their house.
Well, and it's a great thing for people that are trying to sell their house if, in fact, either the house is in disarray or there's just a lot of repairs and they don't have the money to put into the house to fix what they want. Because basically, if they're doing paint and carpet and those kind of things, they're really not going to get that much more for the house, you know, once they sell it. It might freshen up, it might help it sell quicker, but as far as recouping their money that they're putting in, they might not get that back. Also, as a seller, you know, if you go in and do those repairs to try to sell your house, you're probably going to do it the cheapest way that you can, you know, so that you can get a return, but you don't want to spend all your money making it look really nice. This way, a seller can just not have the hassle of doing all of that kind of work, put a renovation marketing, you know, market it as a renovation financing. A lot of times I suggest, you know, if you can get pictures of maybe your kitchen is outdated, maybe get a rendering or something of an updated kitchen, that what that kitchen could look like, and place it in the kitchen while, you know, people are walking through. On the screen here, you can see, and it's not a very good picture, but you can see this dark paneled kitchen here. This was in one house that we did, and she's going to sell this house in a few years. So she wanted to go in, this seller wanted to go in and make the changes because she wanted to enjoy the house for 5 years before she sells it and enjoy it the way she saw it. So as you can see, she took this dark kitchen and lightened the cabinets up and put a new backsplash in and just gave that kitchen a whole new life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
looks clean and fresh.
yes, and so when she's ready to sell, now she's not going to have to go at the last minute and do all these things, and she's able to enjoy this house now for the last few years that she's in it. I think for sellers, you know, you just have to decide and know, as a realtor too, to help them, you know, is it worth it for them to try to make all those changes and
Right.
update the house, or is it better for them to just keep their money that they might need for their retirement or whatever and move on, and just, you know, they're not going to get as much for the property as they would if they redid the whole thing, but they can let somebody else come in and do their vision on the house.
Yeah. So can a homeowner refinance then and renovate their current property?
Oh yeah, and this is a beautiful thing for you as a realtor, and going back into your old database for clients that you have closed in the past, to just tell them about this program, and you might catch them. They might be thinking about selling their house in 3 to 5 years because their kids are graduating or whatever. Yes, you can go in if you've got some equity in your house. It's a great thing because you don't have to take a lot of money out of pocket, and you can make those changes of what you've been sitting in your house for years. You've envisioned, you know, what you could do if that wall was down, or, you know, changing the bathroom, and you can finally do that. You know, you don't have to save the money if it's in your house. Instead of having that money sit underground in your house, make that house your energy spot. You know, make it be what you want to come home to every day and be proud of to live in. But yes, renovation refinance is a great way to go. And maybe you bought a house and you said when you bought it, you know, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You've been there 5 years and you haven't done a thing to it. Take a look at renovation financing and see if it makes sense, because a lot of times it's like a car payment, maybe, or a little bit less than that, to have the house that you love and want to live in and be proud of living in.
And Norman, show the other house that Jody sent us a picture of, that the same story, but
this
the
is an older house too, but this is in over by U of H, and this lady lived, she's an elderly lady, and she lived in this neighborhood, and just her house, her husband passed away. She just let the house go. Everything around her's being built up, and she knows in her mind that she's going to be selling this house soon. And the way it was, she wouldn't have gotten anything for it. You can see the siding on that one garage apartment that she has is just a mess, and the backyard's a mess. The front of the house is not very, it's just, she needed new windows and update. So she went in and completely redid the exterior of the house. They built a ramp for her because she's in a wheelchair, which will be able to be removable if somebody wants to. But the siding on that one area was just, you can see it needed whole new hardy siding. So she redid that whole house, and she spent quite a bit of money. She spent, quite a bit. And once it was all said and done, the appraised value of her house just went up tremendously. So
it looks like she got a new roof in there too.
Yeah, a new roof, all new windows. She did the inside and the outside. So, I mean, even the inside, and it just looks like a whole new house. And I mean, when she walked into that thing, when it was done, she just wanted to cry because the house was dark and gloomy and just a mess. And it's beautiful now. And she has a beautiful living room, which I don't have a picture of, but just a tremendous transformation. And she said it made her heart happy, every time she went into that house, because before she'd walk into that house and it would just drag her down. And now she, when she walks in that house, she's happy. She has her family over, her grandkids over, and they just are amazed at the transformation.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth,
it really changed her life.
And it added $250 a month to her house payment, which was, she could do that. That wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
So
this truly changed her life and changed her way of living.
Exactly. And as you get older, sometimes, things around you just kind of fall down, and she was in that kind of situation where everything around her was falling down, and this just lifted her joy, just made her heart happy,
Yeah.
And little things like that, we get our energy from our homes. That's where we go at the end of the day to plug our batteries in and rejuvenate ourselves. And it's nice when you have a good environment to do that in, and one that you're proud of and happy to be in.
And Linda, I have a quick question. Both of the scenarios you've given us, Jody, have been the seller, the person, the homeowner that did that. So does it also work from a buyer? So if I'm buying a house?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Jody talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, in buying a house, you can walk in, and what the thing is you can make that house however you want it.
Okay.
The main thing is, the house is in the right location, the right schools, it's the perfect neighborhood. All of that works, but you walk in the house and you hate it, but don't hate it. You can transform it. I say, don't hate, renovate,
That's good.
So I think, to recap, I think, Jody, what you said was that the renovation loan would be based on the appraised value would be based on what it would be after it's renovated.
Correct.
Right?
So the loan for the purchase is based on the after completion appraisal value. So, whoever they're buying the house, you're going to pay that seller what they're selling the house for. The loan for the renovation is really something between the buyer and the lender. The seller has no idea that that's, they're paying more, they're going to renovate. Well, they might know that, but it doesn't have anything to do with the seller.
Got it. Okay.
Those numbers are all for the buyer.
Well, this has been very interesting, Linda. Thank you for bringing Jody on. This is great information for everyone.
Yeah. Well, and I really love working with Jody because, at Certainty Mortgage, you always know where you stand with them as a lender. When my clients use them, they send out emails every step of the way. So you know where the loan is in the process. There's no trying to track her down. There's no wondering who you're going to talk to, who's got your file. You just know where everything is, and it always closes very smoothly with her. I've never had any issues whatsoever.
Thank you, Linda.
That's a great recommendation.
She's a great partner to have.
Thank you.
That's great. So anything else you want to talk about? I'm sorry, Jody, go ahead.
What'd you say?
I, I was asking Linda, did she have any other questions for you? If you guys want to talk about anything else.
Well, I can't think of anything. Jody, can you? Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I want to say, it's a real pleasure to work with real professionals, and I'm going to just throw it right back at Linda. Linda is a real professional, and she really does the best for her buyers and sellers, and her heart is in her business. And that's it.
Well,
I think that's I think everyone knows that about Linda, but it's pretty obvious. So, and especially
Yes.
with all the work she does with our guests last week with the East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry. So
right.
I got the name.
On that note, I'm just going to take one more little plug for them because tonight is their 10th annual Empty Bowls. So it's their big fundraiser. And it's at Floor Daniel this year. It starts at 6:30. Tickets are $50. So if y'all aren't doing anything, come on out. They've got, I think, 14 area restaurants providing appetizers, soup, bread, and we'll have bowls for sale from different artists, and we'll have a live auction, silent auction, a wine poll, whiskey poll, so all sorts of fun things. So,
sounds great.
Keller Williams will be there in full force.
And so can they get the tickets at the door, Linda, or do they have to?
Yes, they can.
Okay, yeah, good. Absolutely. So just show up at Floor Daniel then.
Just show up. And it's not fancy. A lot of people, it's not a dress up thing. It's casual, very casual. So it's just from 6:30 to 9:30. It's a lot of fun. Great event.
It sounds like it. So thanks for that plug again for the East Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry. It took me a while to get that name too, but I got that one now. So
I know it's a mouthful, but that's what they do is feed mouths.
That's true. That's a great way to put that, Linda. That's great. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Norman, for being there to take care of all the technology things for us. And Jody, thanks again for sharing all that information. As a homeowner myself, I'm always interested in all this kind of information because as we get closer to retirement and, downsizing is in our future. So gathering all this data from all the interviews we're doing on Friday morning.
Good.
So that's great. So you guys have a great weekend. And I wanted to say we will be here next Friday morning, 10 a.m. I know it's Good Friday and a lot of people are off work, so we expect you to be watching then. You'll have plenty of time to watch us next week. So we'll see you next Friday morning, 10 a.m. for Keller Williams Southwest Real Estate Know-How. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.